Okay, so in this video, I got 4 things that could help you be better with information. All right, so this video is going to be about information and how it can change your situation. You may be getting into that new thing, right? Starting that new business, or you have a great idea and now you want to get started. Well, a lot of times when people start in that new thing, they don't understand anything that they're doing yet. Maybe they know a little bit, maybe they have an idea, but they don't have a clue of the entire thing, like everything it takes in order to move forward. All right, so what does that mean? That means you need to educate yourself, right? So with educating yourself means you need to learn something new. Okay, so when I say information changes situations, you are where you are right now due to what you've done in your past that has led you to get to where you are. But in order for you to move forward and get to the success side of things, you gotta learn something different. Okay? You're in your environment based off the choices that you made, based off the way that you think. Okay? If you want to live a juicy lifestyle, a esoteric way of living, but you're used to living crummy and scared and poor and then those are 2 different mindsets, right? So how do you get from poor and crummy to juicy and esoteric? You got to learn something new. You got to feed your mind. All right? So reading is very critical because you have to learn something new. And a lot of times with reading, that's one way of learning something new, right? If you're not going to seminars, if you're not talking to successful people, a lot of people that are not successful do not have the privilege of talking to successful people, or interviewing them and things like that. If you don't have a platform to do that with the way that things are done in this day and age, if you don't have the connections and things like that, you can go to a conference, you can invest in programs and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, at some point you're gonna have to read. So you might as well just make it a regular daily activity. I'm not gonna lie, I was good at reading, but I didn't make reading a part of my daily routine. I would invest in a program, right? And I would do the next step, watch that video and then go try to implement that, right? And then just continue to follow such and such and such. What I was lacking was investing in myself as far as getting to know myself in a whole new manner, right? So emotional intelligence and outliers and breaking the habit of being yourself. Those are a few books that I've owned for a couple of years now. But it wasn't until I opened those books and I read through those pages that I understood, why didn't I read this sooner? You ever get to that point in life? When you start to do something and you're excited and you're driven and you're going through it, it clicks. If I would have known this earlier, right? How many times? If I would have known this beforehand, how many times we've said those things, right? So my mom used to say, it's better late than never. So it don't matter how old you are, these principles, these things that I'm sharing works for anybody. If you're willing to do it, it will work for you. All right? To avoid making the same mistakes, you need new information. How are you going to know how to get better at something if you don't know how to do it and then do it right over and over again if you don't seek the knowledge to know how? Right? That's like a child learning how to tie their shoe. So they tie it over and over and over again, but while they're tying it over and over again, they're crying, they're getting frustrated, they throw their sneaker, right? They want to quit and give up, but they don't. But it's them hearing and paying attention and following the instructions of the instructor, the person that's teaching them how. You don't got to read to do that, no, on a toddler level, but it's showing persistence. So in order for them to learn how to tie their shoe, they have to listen to somebody that has the wisdom and the practice that already know how to do it, right? So for a lot of us adults, we don't like to read. Well, guess what? Reading is essential. So the sooner you understand that you need to get over that, oh, man, I don't like reading. It's called an audio book. Where's the excuse now? There's no excuse. You just need to stop being on the phone with those people or hanging out with those people or spending time doing stuff that's not helping you or serving you. And you need to implement the change. So if you don't like reading, then find a video that has an audio of that exact book and get the work. Along with understanding that it's necessary for you to read in order for you to be able to change your situation. But a lot of people think, oh, I was born with this talent. I was born with this skill. I'm good. You think so? Because I'm pretty sure the celebrities, the stars, the actors, the musicians, the rappers, all of those people that are successful doing the things that we get to see, they didn't do it one time and they were good. Oh, no, my friend. You need to repeatedly do it. I was watching an Eric Thomas video and he brought up a book called The First 21 Minutes in a Leader's Day. And it discussed in there that you need 10, hold on. You need 10,000 hours to put in to show the practice. Y'all not listening. See, the people that we see that are great, we didn't see what they were doing behind the scenes while they were becoming great. Did you catch that? They were practicing repeatedly over and over again. They had the people telling them no. They had the people that watched it one time. They had the people telling them, oh, you're not good enough. They had the days where they didn't want to keep doing it, right? But they had a drive. They learned from someone else that already did it. They learned that they need to read. They learned that they need to continue practicing in order to get to where they became. Hence, what we started to see, them in the spotlight once they already made it, after they made it. We didn't see the prep work. So no wonder when people are trying to do something new or they're looking to be successful, no wonder they got the one and done mindset. And that's some reality. He said you need 10,000 hours of practice. So the sooner you get started, the sooner you're going to start knocking off some hours. So where are you at? Because maybe you 6,000 hours in and you still got 4 more to go. Maybe you 8,000 hours in, you only got 2 left. Maybe you 1,000 hours in and you looking at that uphill mountain slope like, I got 9 more to go. But don't look at it that way. Look at it like, I knocked off 1. All right, cool, I'm ready for the next one. You know, sometimes when me and my kids are having reading time, right? I got a couple more points for you and then I gotta go. When we're having reading time, I set a timer for 15 minutes. When my son is reading, my son, he just wants to get it over with. So he reads, but he reads fast, right? So I'm teaching him to take your time because I need to hear your words. So you need to say your words clearer. Okay, now he's focused on that. Versus my daughter is very articulate in speech, right? But for my daughter, it's every 2-3 minutes. Am I almost done? Mom, how much time we got left? And I'm telling her, don't focus on how much time you got left. YouTubers, don't focus on how many hours of practice you got to keep going. Focus on the work. Focus on the end goal, that vision. The only way to get to that end goal for my daughter is to keep reading until she hears. This is how I'm teaching her. Like, don't worry about it until you finish the book, right? But in 15 minutes, in reading chapter books, it don't work that way. So I have to change her perception. How about you just read until you hear the alarm go off? She thought about it. Then she started trying it. And for my son, ain't nothing better than to hear that alarm go off, right? Because now it's telling him, your 15 minutes is up, right? But I teach my daughter, try not to focus on, I'm just going to read until I hear that alarm go off. How about you actually get into the information or the story of the book that you're reading, so much so that you forget about the time? Right? It's YouTubers with the videos that we're posting. That's what I need y'all to do. I need y'all to be so into the work that you're doing that you're not thinking about the time. You set yourself a timer. You sit, look, not even. At this time, I'm going to start. At this time, I'm going to finish. So if I start at 4 p.m., I'm not going to stop until it's 8 p.m. That's 4 hours right there. So now, instead of focusing on the time, you need to be smart. And you need to get so heavily immersed in what you're doing that you're distracted from the time. Come on now, I'm talking to somebody. The next point right? Like I said, I got a couple more and then I gotta go. The next point is you have to. Please understand that this is not an option when it comes to being a better version of yourself or to be successful in the thing that you're doing right now. You have to fail forward. I used to look at failing as a terrible thing. Somebody understands. Please. Somebody understands. I used to look at it as a bad thing because the type of student I was growing up, I would get all A's and sometimes B's on my tests because I loved to study. I enjoyed learning. I was excited to raise my hand so I can answer. Because to me, the information I learned, now I can give it back to the teacher in front of the class for other peers around me to hear. And they can know for sure, oh, I know what I'm talking about. Okay, cool. So when I would fail a test or when I wouldn't get a question right, my ego's hurt. Something wrong. And I'm like, I thought I knew that. Right? So this next point, when I say you have to fail forward, you need to get over that. I learned the faster I experience what not to do, see, that's another thing. You can change it. Don't think of it as, oh man, it didn't work. It's failure. And think of it as, who was it? Einstein that was doing electricity. Somebody help me out here. Put it in the comments. He learned 10,000 ways of how not to do it. Am I using the right person? Somebody help me out in the comments with that. Think and Grow Rich. I believe it's in that book. I don't think it's Henry Ford. But Think and Grow Rich. They learned 10,000 ways how not to do it. Right? Instead of saying, oh man, that was wrong and I failed. I don't know what to do now. Look at it like, you know what? Because it didn't work out that way, that's not the way to do it. Cool. So now I'm going to try this way instead. You'd be surprised with how you perceive things in a different way, how you can make it work for you. What? All right, next thing. You have to be big enough to admit your mistake. All right, I did it this way and it didn't work. All right, cool. So now I'm going to try, instead of making my thumbnail this way, I'm going to use less words, right? I'm going to make the picture clearer. I'm going to make sure that you can get the direct point on the thumbnail of what the video is about. So when you click that and it take you in a video, I'm going to give you that value in the video. It's going to go straight to it. Not vlogging or I'll give you 3 things towards success, but now you're vlogging or you talking about your mom and how y'all got into a fight or like, no, nobody want to see stuff like that. Just get straight to the point. All right, so the point I make with that is be big enough to admit my thumbnails is not captivating enough. All right, so I need to do something different. Cool. Once you confront the beast, now you can move on. You got it? All right. The next thing, you have to be smart enough to profit from your mistakes. So even though you make the mistake and you confront the person in the mirror, now you have to figure out a way of, even though you made that mistake, it's still going to work for you. You see that? Perception, education. You have to learn. Once you're big enough to admit your mistake and you're smart enough to profit from them, you have to be strong enough to correct them as well. How are you going to make anything work beyond a mistake if you don't learn from your mistake and then implement the change in order to have a better or different outcome? Right? This stuff sounds so 101, but you'll be surprised how many people need to hear this. Okay? So here's 4 things towards reading. Here's 4 things to sum up this video that I need you to get started on doing right now. Number 1, you need to read. For people that are readers, you need to read. Okay? Tell yourself, I'm going to read a book a month. Like, I used to hear somebody say they read like 300 books a year, or that's like a book a week and a half. Somebody help me with that math. I'm not an expert, right? But what I learned, the more and more that I'm following and modeling my model, is he reads a lot. He reads for hours on end a lot. I'm for it, but at the time, I didn't know how much it was important. So now I'm implementing it, right? Intelligence. I'm implementing a change. Okay, the next thing I need for you to do is go to a conference, right? Because going to a conference is where the information lies. Is where the information is at in your niche that you're learning right now, right? You don't know what success looks like as far as being successful yet, right? So you need to learn from somebody that's already did it, which I promise you, they got information and knowledge that you ain't even gonna come up with on your own without years and years of practice and failing and going through the motion. All right, the next thing I need you to do, if you don't like to read, then download an audiobook. I already covered that. All right, so those people that don't like to read, there is no excuses. Download audiobooks or buy audio, or just, you can, for free, right? There are plenty of books for free. All right, and then the last thing, and I'm gonna get out of here. Get an accountability partner that you guys are reading together, or y'all happen to be reading the same book, and y'all can get together and y'all can share the information, right? Great minds think alike, yes or no, right? Good information in, good information out. Great information in, great information out. Bad information in, bad information out. That's how the law works. Whatever you put in, the laws of sowing and reaping. Check out that video, right? That I made from Bob Proctor. What you put in is what you get out. Period. And I end with that. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you got any value, please hit the like button. If anything I said resonated with you or related to you, or if you're doing any of that stuff right now and you know for sure that it works and you're flourished from it, please comment that down below, because somebody else that see these comments relating to this content right now is going to help them with their experience. And they're like, oh man, you know, I don't like reading, but she said to read, and somebody else in the comments said reading works. All right, cool, I'm going to try it. All right, and that's the whole point in the videos that I'm making, is to impact as many people as possible to help them on their journey to success. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. And you know what I'm about to say. You still here? Get to work. Enough said. Let's go.